worked there since they were playing youth sports and soccer league on Saturdays all the way through, to high school. I mean, that's an unfortunate thing for a lot of families that they're going to, if we don't have high school sports, they're going to have to face.
Yeah. While we're kind of on that subject, I mean, people don't really, they think like for those of us that are advocating for sports this fall, they just take it as, well, these guys, they just want to have sports to have sports. Like, no, right. I look at it as, these kids, especially the kids I'm going to have on my D-line that I know are seniors.
Right.
They've worked their tail off.
Entire lives.
They've battled through some injuries. Like we have a kid who got hurt last year as a junior. He's going to be back.
Right.
So he missed out on his junior year.
Yeah.
Don't take that from him. Like, he's rehabbed hard.
Well, yeah.
And his dad has contacted me and, about him playing at the next level. And I'm like,
yeah.
we're going to do everything we can.
But without a season to kind of solidify it, it leaves a lot of college coaches uncertain about, well, if I already know this other guy, you know what I mean, I'm going to go that direction. So, you need those opportunities. Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, we're talking about this is probably our staff's best football team that they've had. They built this thing up for the whole time they've been there to get to this point. And then, to not have that. And I think we don't think about the mental health part of that, how much sports plays a part in young people's mental health.
Yeah.
It really keeps you in line. It keeps you focused on your schoolwork because if you're not getting the books, then you're hitting the books, you're not able to play.
Yeah, that's a great point.
There's a lot of idle time that kids won't have if they're not playing sports. What are they going to do with that time? You know what I mean? Like, those things are life lessons. Those coaches are being hard on them and teaching them, hey, being accountable. All those things, you take all that away. And a lot of our situation is the male influence that they need in their lives. They might have a single-parent home or, a tough situation at home with trauma or whatever might be going on. They need that relationship. They need that sport for more than just playing football.
Yeah.
Like, I think people look at it as, oh, this is a sport. It's not that important. It is important.
Yeah.
Like, the value of it is very, very important. And I'm all for being safe. Trust me. I'm not saying let's throw everybody in and say, oh, forget the COVID, because it's something that we all could never even have imagined happening, even though Spanish flu and all these things happened before. We didn't think it was going to happen to us, and it just sprung on us like that. So, I mean, if we can find a safe way for kids to play, I think we have to push for that because of everybody that's involved.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of your D1 kids that you guys have had. I mean, those kids are still going to get their opportunities, but it's your kids that are at the lower levels. Your D2 and your NAI type kids that need that film for those coaches to evaluate to say, hey, this guy can make that play.
Absolutely.
And especially being in the city, I mean, that's life-changing for those kids.
It really is. It really is.
To get that opportunity to say, hey, come out here, we're going to pay for your education.
Right.
It might be a first-generation
absolutely
person
the majority
going to school.
The majority of it is first-generation going to college.
And then that's going to affect, those future generations.
Yeah, that's how, we see all the things going on socially in the world. That's how you change your family dynamic. Someone has to break that seal and go and move forward and become economically stable and do things like that for that to pass down. So my son saw me go get an undergrad and a master's degree. Then they're okay. Well, that's.
He said I can
go
do
get
it
a
too.
piece of paper. I got to go. I got to follow in my parents' footsteps or my uncle's footsteps. And you're right. Those 3 D1 kids, they're gonna get to go to college. The beautiful thing about college is you can redshirt a kid like that, and during the COVID and the NCAA will figure out a way to give those kids eligibility somehow.
Yeah.
High school, you can't go back to your senior year. I mean, you can go to a prep school if you want to, but I mean, they were not going to get to play either. So you don't have that. You don't have that. You can't make that up. Once it's gone, there's no making it up. Is the thing with high school.
So in your guys' opinion, are we going to have fall sports, or where does it stand like right now? Does it stand right? It stands right now as a yes, right?
Yeah,
I'm being optimistic and positive because of the kids and the people that are involved. I'm an advocate for playing. I believe that we see things going on in the world that are that make it safer. You guys have an awesome streaming service here.
Yep.
Even if we don't have fans there, let's utilize those types of outlets so it could be streamed so people could still watch it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that because a lot of the professional leagues are doing that.
Yeah,
even exactly. I've been watching some of the soccer in England. That's what they're doing.
What they're doing.
Nobody's in the stadium. They got the coaches and they got some guys and you can hear some people cheering. But they're doing the games with no, and they still got it on TV. Still got all the revenue from the ads and stuff like that. So this is still possible. And like you said, there's services like UClick where we could broadcast all these games. So
right, I mean Spectrum
let's
Sports
have
and all
fall
these
sports.
Guys,
Come on,
yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing, what are we gonna do about school? Okay, so kids have to go back to school. You can't not just go back to school, right? So even if it's virtual, you have to go back to school. And I'm a firm believer that a lot of the younger kids can't do virtual, right? And not to mention families can't just say, okay, well, who's going to teach my kid at home? They have to go to work, right? You don't just get to not go to work.
Yeah, you
have to go and you have to pay for your house and your bills and food, and all. So you're not just going to be able to stay home and teach your kid, right? And our awesome superintendent, Dr. Bedell, I saw something from him the other day. He made a valid point, like, we can't allow kids to go backwards from all the momentum that they've gained, right? So, you get your reading literacy and all that stuff up, and a parent may not be qualified or like a certified teacher to teach. To his point, he was like, you can help your student at home and your child at home, but you're not certified to teach reading literacy and things like that like teachers are at school. So there's going to be that's going to fall off if you don't have school. So you have to figure out a way.
Also, you got to start teaching. You got to start teaching calculus at home. Sorry, Gary.
Exactly.
You got to go for it, man. I mean, stuff like that.
Do you guys have kids that age or kids?
I got young. His are older.
That was an 8th grader and a 5th grader last year.
Have you tried to help them with their homework lately?
Yeah,
I mean, it's completely different than when I learned.
It is, and the thing that was fortunate for me is I taught middle school for 6 years.
Yeah.
So I was familiar. I had an 8th grader and a 5th grader, so I was familiar with kind of the curriculum and the standards. And I do have that training, being a certified teacher.
Right.
So I was in a fortunate situation,
right,
to where I kind of knew what to do. Where most people,
the high 90% of people aren't.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's a tough situation, man.
Cool thing to come out of this, I think, too, will be there'll be a lot of some the people that are kind of in charge of making these decisions. We might see some pretty cool, like, creative ways, like, to get some of this stuff done.
Right.
Which is actually going to be, this may be a nice little year of kind of just thinking and getting new things going. So that'll be really cool to see how they get it done.
For sure.
Yeah.
Those conversations are happening for sure. Like I said, I mean, I watched an interview with our superintendent, Dr. Bedell, and his leadership team, as I'm sure every school district's leadership team, they're working on some creative ways to make it work because there's no other way. You have to figure out some way to make it work. And I think if kids can go, if they do half virtual, half in school, or the younger kids
every other day or something like that,
all the time, they'll have to wear masks and they'll just have to get used to that lifestyle, and it's a part of it. But I think if we can do that, we can do sports safely.
Yes.
I mean, we can do sports to where there's social distancing in gyms when, that time comes around. Football is outside, so it makes it a little bit easier to social distance and create those opportunities. Cross country and things like that. You're running on a trail.
Yeah.
We have trainers out there checking these kids' temperatures. And here's my thing. This is what I told me and my buddies joke about this stuff. It seems really basic, but here's the thing. If you don't feel good, isolate yourself right now. Like, if you're not feeling yourself or you're not feeling normal and you feel like something's wrong, don't go to a place where there's going to be other people at. Like, right now, we got to be that. That seems real simple, but people just don't seem to get that.
Yeah,
like, if you don't feel, I tell all the kids of a basketball workout, if you're not feeling good, I'll tell you that even before COVID. Don't come here.
I was saying that's regular.
You know what I mean? That's
just
a regular thing, like, right?
Yep.
So
wash your hands.
Let's not make this more difficult than what it is.
Right.
For on the basic level, do what you're supposed to do. Or if you've been around someone else that's sick, then you stay away from people until you don't feel bad. It's just really that. It's really that easy for me, and that's what I'm telling all of our players and kids and parents. That's the only way we can protect ourselves right now. There's no other alternative.
Yeah.
So just do what we're supposed to do. So, like, I wear my mask everywhere I go. It sucks. It's hot. It's 90 degrees outside. You take it off when you get out, but when you're inside, just wear it. And I wear it so that we do have fall sports, and so that we do have.
I saw some kids in here yesterday, and they were done playing basketball. I said, "Hey, Shawnee Mission East got nearly 20 kids with COVID. Do you want to play sports next year? Put your mask on." And
I know Debbie Catsby. She was at Lee Summit West when I was there. So she is one of the most awesome people I've ever met in my life, and I know she'll take care of those kids over there. But that's the thing. You have a bunch of healthy high school kids that are obviously asymptomatic, right? You don't know that you don't know that you're sick, or you don't. You know what I mean? So you're just going to be normal, and that's the unfortunate part.
And we actually shut down our summer stuff like 2 weeks ago because
she said it was almost 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it might have been almost 3. I don't remember the exact date, but we had one kid at first.
Yep.
And as soon as we found out about that, I got a text from, Coach Sean Hare, our head basketball coach, who's kind of running everything.
Right.
And he's like, "Hey, we had a kid test positive. If you guys want to get tested, feel free. And we're shut down, for at least 2 weeks." And so now that this article came out yesterday with the numbers jumping, I don't know. That was stuff kids were doing on their own. That was not on school property because we literally told our kids like, "Hey, just work out on your own. Do what you can do at home.
Yep.
Wear your mask if you're in public.
Right.
All those things." And I'm with you. Wearing the mask in public. I wore it, until I got in here in the studio today when I was walking in and everything. And everywhere I go, I got it with me, and I'm putting it on because I'm with you. We have to have some sort of school in the fall.
Right.
I think in person is the best option. I think that's why we've done it that way for so long.
Absolutely.
Because just with the online, there's so many workarounds.
Right.
And if I know anything working with kids for this long, if there's a workaround, they're going to find it.
Well, and here's the thing. For us in the KCPS school district, the majority of these kids don't have access to the internet, right? And I know, our leadership team and the school board, they're working their tails off to try to make that available. But just the reality is there's not that it's not there. Well, there's Wi-Fi deserts all over the inner city, right? Yeah. So you don't even have access to it at all. So how are you going to do that when you can't get on a computer?
We're at 75th and State Line on the Kansas side, and the cell phone internet service over there stinks.
And that's even a more prominent area than than most of the areas down in this area.
So trying to use your cell phone as a hotspot,
absolutely,
that's the easiest way to get internet, but you can't do it. I mean, it's like in this building, you can't use your cell phone. You've got to use Wi-Fi calling to even make a phone call. Yeah. So that's the problem. And also, I want to say something on the article that I saw yesterday that was written by the Shawnee Mission Post. Mm-hmm. A lot of people blaming the athletic programs for the spread of COVID. But here's the thing, and this is what I want the people to know. They're practicing social distancing. Yep.
Right.
You've got to think the first 2 cases came early on into the workouts. Right. Like the first couple of days. That came from somewhere else. The spread of the COVID at Shawnee Mission East, I would almost have to say 100% or at least 90% wasn't spread between the kids working out the few days that they got to work out.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Folks at home, before you comment on something, educate yourself a little bit and figure out why it's going on, because these people like you are not there wanting your kids to get
absolutely not
COVID.
Absolutely not.
No. So calm yourself down.
We were following all the social distancing protocols, and Debbie had sent out an lengthy email with all this stuff. Yeah. I mean, we were following it exactly.
That's
how
we
should. And part of the, I think it was. You tweeted something the other day about youth baseball still going strong.
Going strong.
And that bothers me because I'm like, those coaches are trying to make money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're trying to help kids.